All right. Welcome to the Potomac and Chesapeake Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Nashira, and I will be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check your schedule on the website. This presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/PCACAC. I'd now like to turn it over to our first presenter, University College Dublin.
All right. Hey, everyone. All right, let me share my screen for you. Hey, everyone, my name is Kendall Hook. I am a representative with University College Dublin. I actually am based in New York City, but I work with all of our Mid-Atlantic students. So I'm happy to be here with you all tonight. So why might you be interested in Ireland? Why would Dublin pique your interest? If you haven't been, but you have had friends or family who have been, who've had great things to say about it, if you've seen movies or TV shows that depict it in a positive way, I can tell you that it is true. Everything you may have heard and seen about Dublin is true. It's an incredible country. I would first and foremost say that it is a very safe, friendly, and welcoming country. It's often ranked in the top 10 to 12 safest countries in the world by the Global Peace Index, but it's also, most importantly, ranked oftentimes as the world's friendliest country. For being a small country, you can get from coast to coast in, maybe 4 hours. It is a very multicultural and globally connected country. So you have people from all over the world coming into Ireland, either for work, to live, to study. So it has a big diversity of people from different countries all coming together. And one of the primary reasons for that is that Dublin is regarded as Europe's tech capital. So you have companies like Airbnb, Google, LinkedIn, Facebook. They have their headquarters in Dublin, which makes a really cool opportunity for our students to intern there or in a smaller startup tech company. So intern there for a paid internship during school or for work after graduation. Dublin itself is awesome for students. It's not overwhelming in size. It's not a London or Paris or Milan. It is a very manageable size. So easy to get around, great public transportation, and a very, very youthful population. So there is a ton to do while you're there as a student. So UCD, we're actually located just 2 miles south of Dublin City Center in what's known as the Embassy District, which is a very lovely part of town. It only takes 20 minutes from campus to get into the heart of Dublin. There is a bus door to door, so very easy. We have a pretty modern campus with about 19,000 undergraduate students. And 30% of that student body is international, which is pretty huge. We are considered Ireland's most global university. So between our campus size, the student body population, and the physical campus itself, we would be very, very similar to a large public research institution here in the US. We are one of Ireland's oldest universities, and again, we were ranked the #1 school in Ireland, according to US News, World and Report, which is super exciting. And that means that we have name recognition back here in the US, and you can easily transfer your degree from Ireland back here to the US for either work or for grad school applications. We have housing on campus, which is pretty unique for a European university. We have about 4,000 students that live on campus in their own bedroom, which is also unique for a European university. We have a Res Life team, though, that lives within our communities, and they really try to build a community within each residence halls. We have a pretty traditional student life, robust student life, similar to what you might find here in the US. We have over 130 clubs and societies to join on campus. So we don't have Greek life, but we do have a multitude of other opportunities to get involved. So if you're interested in rugby or soccer or Harry Potter or English Lit, drama, there's something for everyone on campus. We have over 70 undergrad degree programs that range between 3 to 4 years. These are just an overarching view of the colleges that we have and some of the main programs that we have available for US students. The 3 to 4 year programs, the vast majority of students are on campus for 4 years. And within those 4 year programs, there's an opportunity for a paid internship or to study abroad again. UCD doesn't have general education requirements, so you can jump right in and study what you want to study without ever having to take classes that are unrelated to your subject. So if you want to be an English major, you never have to take another math again if you don't want. But at UCD, you do have electives, so you can take classes in other colleges if you want. We do have a special program called the Liberal Arts and Sciences program that's very popular with our US students. And that allows you the flexibility to take classes across a variety of colleges before ultimately deciding what you'd like to transfer into and continue to pursue. So most importantly, we're on the Common App. So I believe Common App applications just recently opened, and I would recommend applying no later than December 1st if you want to be considered for scholarships or have enough time to apply for scholarships by February. You applied directly to the programs you're interested in, and you can select those on the Common App. Otherwise, we are rolling admission until July 1st. We do have scholarships available that range between 10 to 100% of tuition, and 70% of our North American students do receive some sort of merit-based scholarship. We also accept US federal aid, so you can indicate UCD on your FAFSA application, and we're happy to work with you on that. So if you have any questions, that is my email address. You can also scan that QR code and fill out a super brief Google form to send us your info. So thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. American College Dublin.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Healy, and I am the admissions representative for the American College Dublin. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We come from a lot of great different schools, and I'm sure we're all really excited to share some information with you all. So I love starting off my presentation with this picture because I think it gives an overall good representation of Dublin as a city in its entirety. So as you can see, there's a lot going on, a lot of stores, restaurants, pubs, libraries, just a lot of great little spots to discover throughout the city. As Kendall was saying, it's a really friendly city. So it does have that metropolitan feel, but also that really great sense of community. So it's a really great balance. And then if you bring your view to the back of the photo, you will see St. Anne's Church, and that is where we hold our formal graduation ceremonies. So there's something for you to look forward to a little further down the road. So we are an Irish American university, which means we uphold the standards of accrediting bodies from both Ireland and the United States through the Quality and Qualifications Ireland and the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. So what this means for our students is that they can pick the path that best suits them. So through the US accreditation, you will be taking the path that is the 4-year undergrad path. So it looks a lot like what your peers will be doing in the States. And then if you take the Irish accreditation route, it will be a 3-year undergrad path, and you won't be taking any courses outside of your desired course of study. So say you decide to follow the creative writing path, you won't be taking any math classes or anything like that, and you'll be able to receive your degree in 3 years. So we are a very small school, but that is by design, so we can offer our students small interactive lectures. The lectures at ECD are typically less than 20 students, and this arrangement really allows for, as I said, an interactive experience with plenty of discussion and debate. So our classes do not get really boring. It's not just like the teacher lecturing at you. We really encourage our students to voice their own opinions and perspectives. So it really is more of a conversation between you and your peers and your professor. There's also tons of multimedia used in the classroom. So it's always, very entertaining and very lively, and it really keeps our students interested in the course. Dublin is your campus. We really encourage our students to take advantage of this really wonderful city. As I said, there's plenty to see and explore. We're about a 30-second walk from the National Gallery Museum. So just right in our little neighborhood, there's plenty to see. We really encourage our students to get out in the city as much as possible, because we want them to take things that they're learning in the classrooms and connect them to things that they're seeing in real life, to have what we call is that aha moment, where you really just connect everything, and it kind of clicks in your brain. So I briefly want to talk about our administration. Like our classes and our school as a whole, it is small by design, with an emphasis on reducing bureaucracy. So what this means is that our offices operate under an open door policy, and our students are encouraged to drop by and get to know our staff, because we want to be able to accommodate our students as best as possible. And to do that in the best way, we really need to get to know the students and what they need from us. Here are the courses that we offer. So we have the 3-year bachelor's programs in international business and liberal arts, and then our 4-year bachelor's in international business, hospitality management, event management, liberal arts, and then a 4-year BFA in musical theater and performance and creative writing. So we welcome applicants from every corner of the globe, and because of that, our requirements are aimed at gathering up a holistic view of the applicant. So in other words, we really want to get to know who you are as a person, a student, what you're passionate about, and your interests. So because of this, what's required is a minimum 2.0 GPA. And then for any transfer or mature students, a resume or CV. And then a personal statement or a cover letter that describes why you would like to study your chosen area at the American College Dublin. So this is really your chance to show us who you are, because we really want to get to know you, because in the end, we want the American College Dublin to be a good fit for you. We have been test optional since the start. So these items will be considered in the application, but are certainly not required. A resume, any test scores, any recognition or awards or publications. So it's just something that you can include if you feel like it really rounds out who you are as a person and as a student. Our tuition and fees, our undergrad for non-European students is €9,000. And then our BFA is €9,500. It's just a little bit more for our BFA students because of the different locations they'll have courses and different materials they need. We do operate under rolling admission, so you can apply at any time and we will get you a response within 2 weeks. And if you have any other questions, I will drop my information in the chat below. And thank you again so much for coming to see us tonight.
All right, thank you. We'll now have the University of British Columbia.
I forgot to unmute myself. I was talking. I forgot to turn on my camera too. What a silly bean. Okay, sorry. Let me go back and share my screen. This is a wonderful start. All right. So my name is Chris Weber. My pronouns are he, him. I'm UBC's regional rep here in New York, so in the Northeast of the US. Now, before I actually start talking about all the opportunities at UBC, I do want to respectfully acknowledge the traditions and customs of the Seal Okanagan people in whose territory our Okanagan campus is situated. And I'd like to acknowledge that UBC's Vancouver campus is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people. I like to start all my presentations with a land acknowledgement. I think it's a very important thing to do. So if we talk about UBC today, I'm going to talk to you about 3 elements, which are academic excellence, ideal locations, and active learning opportunities. Now, if we talk about academic excellence, this is a tough one to talk about because we tend to want to quantify it and throw in rankings, and you definitely shouldn't make your decision based on rankings. However, if it is important to you, we are a top 40 university in the world. A number of our departments are in the top 20 worldwide. So it's a very respected degree, but I'm more interested in other numbers. Here you can see that we're on track to meeting our carbon emission reduction, like elimination goals. But really the point of this is to just know we're obsessed with sustainability. It's just in our DNA. Another part of our DNA is our multicultural diversity. We have over 18,000 international students from 166 countries. So we're the most international university in North America. So another really important part of who we are. And then if we talk about location, before I even talk to you about UBC, just a little word on Canada, because Canada is considered the #1 country in the world for quality of life. So it's a country that really prioritizes healthcare, whether it's mental health or physical health. It's a very inclusive, welcoming country. And we invest more in higher education than almost any other country in the world, meaning the quality of our institutions goes way up while the cost comes down. And if you're an international student who graduates from a Canadian institution, you get a 3-year work permit where you can stay in the country and, use those connections you've made and then the experiences you've had to really start your career and build an impressive resume before moving back. Now, UBC specifically, we do have 2 campuses, which provide very different experiences, even though the degree is the same and the areas of study are pretty much the same. So if we zoom in a little bit, we have a campus in the Okanagan. It's a 10,500 undergraduate campus. So it's mid-size in a city of 200,000 people. And you very much get that campus feel. It's a more close-knit environment like that. And then in Vancouver, we have a campus of 46,000 undergrads. So it's a big place in a city of 2.5 million people. So again, you have that campus feel. It is a campus. They're both surrounded by nature and both about 20 minutes away from their respective downtowns. So we've talked about academic excellence. We've talked about location. Let's talk about active learning, because there's many ways you can really get that hands-on experience at UBC. One of them could be getting involved in research at the undergraduate level. You could even do research in an area that you're not majoring in, because we have over $500 million in funding every year. We have thousands of research projects going on every year. Or maybe you're thinking about work experience. And specifically, I want to talk to you about co-op, which is a way of doing work experience where you alternate a semester of work with a semester of study. So you don't have to do it all in one go. You don't have to juggle too much at any one time. And 90% of our co-op students get a job offer within a month of graduating because they've had paid, relevant, mentored paid work experience throughout their undergraduate degree. And this is in all kinds of industries in different countries. We have thousands of students on co-op every year. Now, this is very intense. I'm telling you about research and work, and you just want to have fun. That's cool too. We do have the largest intramural sports program in Canada, as well as most titles in varsity sports across Canada. So really any kind of sport in any level of competition. And we also have hundreds of student-run clubs. So whether it's an academic club, a social justice-oriented one, a cultural one, or just fun ones like the Ski and Snowboard Club or the Magicians and Illusionists Club, you can find your communities in ways that helps this big experience feel a little bit smaller. And then if going to Canada isn't international enough, you can study abroad or do research abroad or work abroad. We have over 200 partner institutions in about 50 different countries. So with this academic excellence of a top 20 public university in the world, with these 2 ideal locations, which provide very different experiences and all these different opportunities to get your hands dirty, I think it's clear why a UBC degree is internationally renowned and recognized. And hopefully you will agree that you'll find academic excellence, ideal location, active learning opportunities. And this isn't a place where you can get, we have over 260 majors offered. We have environments where you can really find the right fit for you. So you can really see what makes sense, whether it's a big city or a small one, a big campus or a mid-sized one. We have all these opportunities, whatever you're interested in. We're not going to force you to go to the football game or whatever it is. So all these ways for you to find the right fit. And I didn't even mention, this is all with a very friendly Canadian price tag. So I think you'll find Canadian universities compare very favorably to out-of-state schools, to maybe private schools in the US. So I really do encourage you to check us out online. Our website's right there. You can find online events for US students. You can find us on all the social media. I'm an old man, so I know about Facebook and Twitter, but I'm sure you're all about TikTok and Snapchat and all that. So thank you very much, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Duke Kunshan University.
Thank you for that introduction. Let me quickly share my screen. Alrighty, so yeah, my name is Emily Gruby. I'm with Duke Kunshan University, which is a joint venture institution that Duke University has opened up in China. I know I don't have too much time today, so I want to point out that on every slide I'll have a QR code that will direct you to our virtual events that are slightly longer than 6 minutes. We have a virtual info session as well as a virtual campus tour that is led by both members of our staff and current students. I'm also including a link in the chat to just a registration form so we can get more information from you. And we'll also happily send you a t-shirt and some other swag if you fill out that form as well. So as mentioned on the first slide here, you do spend time on both campuses. You have the opportunity to spend a semester at Duke, but the rest of the time you are in China. Upon graduation, you actually earn degrees from both Duke University and Duke Kunshan University as well. So you still get that US accredited degree at the end of your college experience. So you may not have heard of Kunshan before. It is considered to be a small city by Chinese standards. And I use air quotes because it's still about 2 million people. It's located right in between Shanghai and Suzhou. Suzhou is about the population of New York City, whereas Shanghai is one of the biggest cities in the world. Again, only about 20 minutes via high-speed rail from each of these cities. And our students definitely take advantage of the location to experience nightlife in Shanghai, go out to different types of restaurants. Their professors take them on field trips, and I'll kind of go into what that looks like in a little bit. And again, you do have that opportunity during your junior year to spend a semester at Duke as well in Durham, North Carolina, or you can choose to spend your study away semester at another international location. So Duke really felt that to solve some of these big global issues like economic issues, environmental issues, global health issues, that students needed a truly international experience. So we are all about reinventing that traditional notion of liberal arts and sciences to essentially create those global change makers. Our curriculum is very experiential and interdisciplinary, and I'm sure you've heard that word a lot, especially if you're looking at liberal arts institutions. But we really kind of take it to another level with our blended disciplines. Essentially, all of our majors are kind of function as double majors. We do have departments in arts and humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences, but no matter what you choose to major in, you'll take classes in all of these areas. Some of our classes are even team taught by professors in multiple divisions. We focus on that experiential component through the academic week structure. Classes are just Monday through Thursday, so Fridays are meant for co-curricular education, like those field trips, research opportunities, travel opportunities, volunteer work, all sorts of cool ways to utilize those Fridays. And then furthermore, we have a pretty innovative semester schedule. It's kind of a hybrid between the US and the Chinese higher education system. So we have a calendar that runs from August to December, fall semester, then you have a winter break and come back from January to May, but each semester is split into 2 7-week sessions. So you're only taking about 2 to 3 classes at a time. So while it's a little bit more intensive because you're essentially taking a semester course in half the time, you're not balancing quite as many courses at one time. These are our majors. I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide, but I do want to point out that you don't declare a major till the end of your sophomore year, so there's plenty of time to explore. You'll choose both a major and a disciplinary track. So the hollow bullet points underneath the underlined majors are those disciplinary tracks that I'm referring to. This information is on our website, so definitely check that out. And again, you have a lot of time before you have to officially declare this. We have over 60 student clubs and organizations that range from club sports to an LGBT student organization, to an outdoor club, to robotics clubs, art clubs, all sorts of things. There's also a lot of support if you want to start a new student organization as well when you're on campus. We are on the Common App. It is a free application. We have 2 application rounds, early decision and regular decision. And we are test optional for fall 2022 admission. We haven't made a decision beyond that, but just be on the lookout if you are a junior or below. When you apply, you're automatically considered for merit-based aid. And if you want to be also considered for need-based aid, you should submit your CSS profile. We do award up to full tuition in scholarships and aid. So definitely don't be concerned with that Duke tuition price tag, because the majority of our international students are receiving substantial financial aid and scholarships. One other thing that I want to point out is that we are also on the Duke application now. So if you're also interested in applying to Duke University, there's a checkbox feature to just have your application materials forwarded to us. Do keep in mind that Duke's application does have a fee though. Alrighty, and shameless plug for our social media. I definitely encourage you guys to check out the YouTube channel in particular, so you can see some day in the life videos created by students, as well as just some information on majors, on a glimpse into our campus, all sorts of things like that. And definitely reach out with any questions. I'm going to give you one more QR code there that again leads to those virtual events. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. Our next, our next school will be University of East London.
Hi everyone, my name is Binania and I am the Americas Recruitment Officer here at the University of East London. And today I'm going to discuss what it's like studying in London and what it's like being an American living in London. Obviously by my accent, I am not British, I am American. I actually graduated from the University of East London and I now split my time between LA and London. And before I kick off the presentation, I do want to start with this quote. So this quote says, "When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life." And I love this quote because I think it captures the beauty and the essence of London. I've lived in London for 4 years now, and I still haven't done everything there is to do in London. And I don't think there are that many places in the world that can give you that. And I think I am fair in saying that because I do live in 2 of the biggest cities in the world. And this is a photo of our Docklands campus. We have 3 campuses, all based in East London. As you can see, it's right on the river, it's right on the water, and it is set in the suburbs of London, which I think is perfect because it's not too busy. However, you are still in the city of London and there's tons to do. The circle in the photo is actually a tube station. So we do have a campus or a station right on campus, which makes traveling London super easy. You just get on the train and you go. So why should I study at the University of East London? Here are the biggest reasons why American students choose to study in London, with the biggest being that you can graduate in 3 years instead of 4. I'm sorry, that should say 4. We're also one of the largest international universities in the UK. We have 17,000 students, 20% of which are international students. We are ranked first in the UK for international support and visa advice, and we are one of the only universities in London that offers on-campus accommodation, which I will talk a little more about in the next few slides. And we also accept FAFSA, and I would say the majority of our American students actually do use FAFSA to fund their degree in London. So we've got 6 schools. We've got a wide variety of subjects spread across 6 schools. I've listed 3 schools here and another 3 here. I've also listed some of our biggest programs under each of the schools. You can find our full list of courses on our website. For American students, our top 3 programs are business management, biomedical science, which is the equivalent of pre-med, and psychology. So accommodation, I love to talk about accommodation because when I was a student, it was one of my favorite things about UVL. So all of our rooms on campus are private and en suite, meaning you get your own room and your own bathroom. You don't have to share it with anyone, and you'll just share the kitchen and the common areas, and typically you'll be sharing between 3 and 5 other students. So it's perfect if you like having your own space, but you also like being social. Whereas in the US, you guys are familiar with the idea of having roommates once you're in college and just sharing a room and having, I guess just having people in your personal space. I don't know what that's like because I went to college in London. So I do love to talk about accommodation when I'm sharing my experience or I'm speaking with other students. And I think the best part about it is the view. So all of our campus is on the river. So all of our rooms are on the river. So as you can see in the photo, you're living right on the river, and it is probably one of the best places in London to watch the sunset. So just to give you an overview of studying at UEL versus studying in the US, it's free to apply, so you've literally got nothing to lose. We do rolling admission, and we aim to send you your decision between 4 and 6 weeks, potentially more during busy periods of the recruitment cycle. The duration is 3 years compared to 4, and that's not because we take a 4-year degree and squish it into 3 years. It's because we don't require general education. So from day one, you are studying your dedicated subject. So I use psychology as my example because that's what I studied. I only ever took psychology classes. I didn't take English or math or anything that wasn't strictly psychology. Tuition for the first year is just under $20,000 US, and it does include free textbooks. So tuition for the entire degree is just under $60,000 US. And I'm not going to go over the US because I'm sure that's self-explanatory. And if you do have any questions about studying in London or what it's like being an American living in London, please feel free to reach out to me and my team. I would be more than happy to schedule a FaceTime or a Zoom call with you and your parents. And I'm going to hand things over to our next presenter.
Thank you so much, John Cabot University.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get this going. All right, so my name is Ramsey. I'm the admissions counselor for the United States for John Cabot University. I'm also a graduate from JCU. I graduated over 4 years ago. So if you have any questions about, what it's like living in Rome or what it's like being a student, I can answer those as well. But to start off, so John Cabot University is an American university in the center of Rome. It's an American university, which means you get an American degree when you graduate, American accredited, kind of best of both worlds. But we are a small institution. We have just over 1,400 students from over 70 different countries. So small maybe in terms of size, but not small in terms of the people you're going to be meeting. But you do get that, 15 to 1 student to professor ratio. You actually get to know your professor and talk to them and know them as a person. And over 80, now I think it's 85, over 85% of our students receive financial aid from us. So they are very generous, or as generous as they can be. As you can see from our enrollment profile, we do have students from all around the world. It's a very multicultural, international place. I can tell you from my experience, that's very true. That was one of my favorite parts about going to John Cabot. So we have an urban campus. It's just a few buildings near each other in the center of Rome, but the area that we're in is super cute. It's exactly what you imagine when you think of Rome, the small cobblestone streets and mopeds and, right on the river. So it's very beautiful. I'll walk through the campus real quickly. Here's our Critelli campus. There's some classes over here. Like I said, all on the river. So it's a very beautiful setting. Guarini campus is our oldest campus. It has our auditorium, our library, a bunch of student lounge areas. Spend a lot of time in the library here studying. And our Tiber campus has our cafeteria and a bunch of classrooms and student service offices. So you'll be spending your time in between these. And then we do have our own art facility because a lot of people come to Rome to be studying art. So if you're into, painting, sculpting, drawing, I took my photography courses in this building. So it's nice to have your own space for that. But on to the academics. So we have 14 majors and 19 minors, which I will show next. Like I said before, around 15 students per class, sometimes a lot smaller, sometimes a little bit bigger. So you really get that personal experience with your professor. They actually care about you, not just as a student, but as a person living in Rome. And then a few kind of helpful tools for students who are struggling, or, I use the Writing Center quite a lot because you do a lot of writing and a liberal arts education. So those can definitely help out. I know going to Rome is already abroad, but if you wanted to get more abroad experiences, you can study abroad for a semester or even for 2 semesters, so a full year, and you won't have to pay any difference in tuition if you go to one of these partner universities. So say you have, family in Ireland, or you've always been wanting to live in France. So there's no shortage of travel, of course, when you're living in Rome. Something that's big at JCU is our professional opportunities. We do have quite a few of our students get internships every year. We have partnerships with over 670 companies in and outside of Rome. So it's a very common thing. We have 3 career fairs where we invite some of these companies over to our campus, and you get to talk to them, see what they're looking for in an applicant, hopefully get an interview. It's good to put yourself in this environment, not only a professional environment, but an internationally professional environment. I think it's kind of sets you aside from everybody else when you graduate and you're looking for jobs. I think that could be what sets you aside, especially if you want to stay in Rome or Europe when you graduate. Having that rapport with a company or organization and they want to hire you afterwards definitely helps. Here are just some of the companies that our students do get internships with usually. So onto our campus life. I know I don't have a lot of time, so sorry if I'm speeding through, but I do have a QR code at the end if you guys want to scan that and get all the information. So our housing, it is, it's not like what you might be used to seeing in the US. It's a bit more apartment style. So, you'll have a small kitchen and a small balcony. Depending on which one you get, there will be, either a few or a bit more than a few flatmates. They're all pretty close to campus, so not a far walk. You don't have to take a tram or anything like that. It's pretty close and it's a nice walk. You do a lot of walking in Rome. But it's nice. You kind of feel like a local right away because some of the housing is 10 minutes from campus, and it's basically like you have your own apartment already. But because we're in Italy, we do a lot of trips and activities. We like, we don't want you to just be bogged down studying all 4 years, because we actually have Fridays off every week at John Cabot. So that gives you, of course, extra time to manage your studies, but also time to go and see the surrounding areas. I mean, that's why you're coming to Rome, of course. So we do a lot of those things kind of that integrate you into the Italian culture. It's a lot of surrounded around history and food and culture. So it's basically like John Cabot planning a mini vacation for you, which is obviously great. So here's that QR code. If you guys wanted to have the information that I talked about, sometimes it's easier to just have it on your phone. One thing I will say before I run out of time is that you should definitely use the socials. Obviously, it's very hard to go to Rome or any of these schools that you've been hearing about right now. So use the social, see if you can see yourself in this type of environment and, living in a place like Rome. It doesn't hurt to watch some nice videos of a beautiful city. So yeah, that's my time. My name is Ramsey. I'll put my information in the chat, but thank you.
All right, thank you all. If I could ask all of the universities and colleges to join me on video, I have a quick Q&A. Okay, so we'll start with University College Dublin. What advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Yeah, I would recommend always looking to see if each of the universities abroad has a North American admissions representative, because similar to US universities, most of us do, or there's someone to reach out to ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can, and don't be intimidated by it.
Right, thank you. American College Dublin, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
Well, this is just like a little fun fact, but our main building was actually the childhood home of Oscar Wilde. If you don't know who Oscar Wilde was, he was a famous poet and screenwriter from Dublin, obviously, because we are located in his childhood home. So a little fun fact for you.
Thank you. University of British Columbia, what is one myth you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process?
I mean, I'll actually go specific and say something about international education, because all of us here are international. And I debunk the myth that studying abroad means you won't have the experiences that you would get in the US. It's not like you're giving something up. as you've seen, we all have clubs and work experience and research. So just open up your mind and keep looking outside.
Thank you. Duke Kunshan University, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
I'd say just keep an open mind, and, ask questions as well. Like Kendall said, all of us are based in the US and have, obviously representation in the US, but just keep asking those questions and don't let the price tag of these institutions cause you to not apply, because a lot of times cost of living is significantly less in other countries. So just, again, keep an open mind when you're applying.
Thank you. University of East London, what's one thing you want students to remember about your school?
Sorry, I feel like I should have had an answer prepared for this one. One thing to remember, I think, generally speaking, if you want something, go for it. I feel like studying in London is something that it's not a common everyday thing that everyone does. And I just think that there's more to life than, the town you grew up in. So I would encourage everyone to go out, explore, travel, study in a different country if you can.
Perfect. And John Cabot University, what is one myth you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process?
I guess I would say, again, for international, there's a myth that when you go to a college internationally and get your degree outside the US, that it's harder to find a job when you come back. And I think that that's, if anything, that's the opposite, because when I got my degree from Rome and I came back, people were just automatically interested in my experience and, the fact that I left the country for 3-4 years and, why would you go there? And so it just, people are automatically interested in you so I found that it was the opposite.
All right. Well, thank you. And thank you all for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. You'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/PCACAC. Thank you so much and have a great day.